Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro friends. We this week are going to do the Daily Coffee Pro live streamed through Facebook just to see how it compares with live streaming through YouTube. So we will just see how that goes. And before we get started, I just wanted to give a massive shout out to everybody that came to the webinar on the weekend, the live stream of the webinar. Barista Beyond Mapping a Successful 10-Year Career in the Coffee Industry. The feedback was awesome. Very grateful for everyone that turned up. You can still participate by watching the webinar and getting one-on-one with me through the group that the webinar is housed in. You can head to mapperforward.org/events for tickets. And if you do, there's a very special surprise for everybody that does attend this workshop, and it's mentioned at the end of the video. So today on the Daily Coffee Pro, we are going to be talking about automation and your career in coffee. And this is an interesting one because as anyone who came to the webinar on the weekend will tell you, it seems for some reason that it's not something that a lot of people are paying attention to very seriously in our industry when it comes to considering the effect that automation is going to have on your long-term career. Now, if you've been keeping up with automation, you've been keeping up with AI, you've been keeping up with the work economy or the job economy, you'll know that this is a pretty serious issue. You'll also know that this is a contentious issue. The reason that it's contentious, particularly when it comes to positions like baristas, is that while automation is going to become prolific throughout the world, without a doubt, it's been progressive through the industrial age, but this is, by the standards that the World Economics Forum talks about it, this is the fourth industrial revolution. And what this means is it's going to accelerate. It's going to push humanity into looking at different alternative means for earning incomes, when it's going to just be that much cheaper to have robots do the jobs and AI learn how to do a lot of the jobs that humans do. This means AI will think and be able to do things a lot more efficiently and with a lot less emotion and human traits than what is necessary. This is where it becomes contentious about the idea that will jobs that baristas do be taken over by AI? All right. So when you think about it, the jobs that will stay being done by humans are the ones that require empathy. So nursing will be required. Some creative jobs, artistry, different forms of service roles. So aged caregivers, those kinds of things that require lots of empathy and the human touch. Some people would say that the service that you get in a cafe is an important part of the cafe experience. And I don't disagree with that, except for the fact that the people who it's important to, I don't know that it's the most important thing on their list. And I don't think it's the most important thing on their list enough for them to care as much as we think that they do. It's definitely not going to be a priority for people who are running businesses that are looking for ways to cut wages so that they can run their businesses efficiently. So as we talked about this in the webinar on the weekend, having your cafe, if it's currently staffed by, I don't know, 15 people, you have 15 people on your payroll that specifically work as baristas in your cafe. And let's say that you have on shift at any one time 5 of those baristas. You're going to be able to run a cafe with 2 of those baristas per shift maximum. One of them is going to be doing the restocking, the cleaning, the general kind of non-customer facing stuff, and you'll have one person as a coffee concierge. And that's even if you decide to have that. It's a nice to have until for that odd customer. In the beginning, it will be necessary to have so that people learn how to use the equipment that's in your cafe. But robots will be able to take your order, make your coffee, and make it better than a barista can make it, because they will be able to make it to the specific requirements of a returning customer. So they'll be able to dose, or they'll be able to dose in accordance to the strength that a customer in particular likes. Let's say a customer likes 1 3/4 of a shot. They'll be able to select that through the machines that people are developing. Humans can't get that right every single time. Robots can. So you need to be thinking about this stuff. You really, really do need to be thinking about this stuff. Currently, a friend of mine in Australia, every single morning, orders her coffee through an app, pays for it on the same app. It's ready on the espresso machine when she arrives in the cafe. She doesn't speak to a single person, and she literally just walks up to the espresso machine, looks for the coffee that's got her name on it, grabs it, and walks back. It's a convenience economy that we exist in now, and it's just going to get more so that way as people's attention spans get shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. So I invite you to start thinking about how you're fashioning your career and how you're developing your career map to consider these things, because this is extremely important if you're going to exist in the cafe world over the next at minimum 10 years. You know, this is just going to get progressively it's gonna take a little while for it to get here, and then once it's here and it's doing well, it's going to spread like wildfire through the cafes, and in a sweeping foul swoop, lots of people are going to lose their jobs and they're going to have to figure out something else to do. I anticipate the same thing is going to happen with roasteries. You're going to have roasteries that automate themselves. I don't know if anybody's developing this technology right now, but I do know that eventually it will happen. It will absolutely happen. And why wouldn't you want it to happen? Especially if you're a business owner. It means that you're able to still afford the coffees that you want, and you'll be able to mechanize the roasting of the coffee so that it is bang on every time without any human intervention. It's coming. It's absolutely coming, folks. I want you to start thinking about how that is going to affect your career from here to 10 years. And if you want any help with understanding how to do that, you'll have from now until the end of July to watch the video from the webinar this weekend, and I think it will help. On that note, I hope this has given you some food for thought. It's definitely something that keeps me thinking about this subject all the time. I'm constantly looking into researching the new developments that are happening with AI and with robots. If you want to really freak yourself out, go and look up Boston Dynamics, and it's intense what they're coming up with. On that note, peace, love, and peanut butter. See you here on Facebook live the rest of this week, and we'll see what happens. Have an amazing rest of your day, folks.